Hey nerds, join us on Discord and hit that subscribe button.
Who are you? I'm Kennick.
Flynn. Zika.
Thessaly.
Homa.
And I'm your DM, Seth. Welcome to Venture Forth. When last we left our heroes. After an early morning arrival within Stillgate, you all gathered yourselves within the tower at the Athenaeum Arcanum and braved the resplendent city streets of Stillgate. But while en route to the Cliffside District for a meet and greet with the Lady Peregrine, you were all set upon by a formidable and mysterious construct prowling the streets. You engaged in a pitched battle within the city streets of Stillgate, bringing all of your formidable weapons to bear. The construct's unusual nature presented a very unique challenge for the Agents of Repair, but thanks to some incredible spellcraft and martial prowess from all, and if I may, some particularly adept healing from the party cleric, you all emerged victorious, with Kelly delivering the killing blow.
Yay!
You did your job, man. You did your job. Did it well. I'm sorry, Seeker.
It's okay.
Seeker, you were great.
I'm not the player.
You got hosed on that one, bud. And as you all emerged from the battle, out of breath and looking more than a little ragged, a pair of Stillguard arrived quickly, apparently just as confused as you all as to the nature and origin of this apparently very sophisticated construct. And it was not very long before a third member of the city's military arrived, a steam-stride warden in full armor, part construction himself. And as this new figure revealed his face, the two Stillguard snapped to attention, crisply saluted, and asked of this figure, "Captain Salix, sir, what can we do for you, sir?" As we come back to this moment, Thessaly, you see before you the ocean blue eyes, grown now. Several years later, you see your brother, Salix Gwyn, standing before you.
I'm just staring, but I'm frozen, just like cold sweat beating down the side of my forehead because I'm still poisoned.
Oh yeah, you are.
But I almost think that like it's not real. Like I don't like the reality that's in front of me and seeing how he has aged versus how I last saw him, but still he's always going to be utterly recognizable to me in the way that family is. Like the reality just doesn't click, and I'm in shock, and I'm just staring with wide eyes.
Okay. Yeah, he is immediately recognizable and yet changed from the boy you remember. In front of you is a man. He's taller. He's grown a few inches. He's filled out quite a bit. Not overly muscular, but that long, lanky form of his has transformed into a more muscular, more filled out.
Oh my
Oh.
And you can see the most marked and noticeable difference is his right arm.
Yeah.
Where once you knew there to be flesh, instead you see a pure metal construction. You can even see like kind of just underneath the collar what appear to be like a scar of some kind from an old injury. But he also is rooted to the spot where he's at, and he's staring at you, and his face is kind of unreadable, and he just like locks eyes with you, and you see he clenches his jaw, and you see the muscle feather, and he turns to the two Stillguard. He says, "I want a 500-foot perimeter around this place. Nobody comes, nobody goes without my permission. Do you understand?" They say, "Yes, sir," and they run off.
Maybe we don't need Lady Peregrine.
He looks back to you. Tess? What are you doing here? How are you?
I'm gonna take a step forward. Does he move back?
He doesn't step back, but he stiffens a little.
I take another step forward. What's the distance between us?
About 6 feet at this point.
If he'll let me, I'm not gonna reach my arms out, but I'm gonna walk until I'm like maybe like half a foot from him.
He, like, as you come closer, he kind of draws up. You see his jaws, like, again, kind of clenched. He looks at you.
I'm so sorry. I can't tell you how sorry.
We have a lot to talk about.
Do you want to talk? Do you want that?
Yeah. But I got a job to do. Right now. Come with me.
Right, of course. Yeah. Let's and I'm gonna turn back to the rest of the
Are you peeking up from behind the barrel? Like you just see the top of my face, like eyes above the barrel.
Yeah, just kind of sitting on the ground. I'll kind of like lean towards Seeker. Who is that?
I'm not gonna like. I'm gonna ignore you. I'm gonna look at you and nod and just kind of motion like one moment and like head over towards Salix and she's been looking for you. It's good to meet you. I'm Sika, and I'll put my hand out.
He's a friend. A good friend. I am. Sika, this is my brother.
Salix Gwyn. And you guys all hear that. And he kind of like looks around as he takes a moment to kind of detach from what the moment that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
And you see is like he's kind of like with a sheer force of will.
Yeah.
Stills his face to coolness. What did I just say? Schools his face to stillness.
Yep, there it is.
That's a phrase.
Welcome to school game. Covered by the school guard.
That is what complicated combats do to DM's brains.
Yeah.
Just Salix is feeling right now.
You see as like the and I think I would like to think that Thessaly probably recognizes the discipline of years of training.
Yep.
Kind of woof, and he locks it in for a second, and he looks at you, and he just kind of nods, and then he reaches up to his shoulder, and he kind of like pulls out a compartment, and then he grabs a device out of it. Like he kind of pulls out what looks like almost like a little like a small round kind of coin with a hollow at the center. But he walks over and he walks straight up to the steel construct and he sets it on the ground. And he whispers a command word. What languages do you guys all speak?
Orcish, Elvish.
Does anybody speak
Undercommon.
Primordial?
No.
Nah.
So he went
No.
like this weird kind of like rumbling word, and you see as from the stones of the streets, like around in almost like a perfect box around the construct that is sort of still sitting here on the ground in this heap of metal, you see as stone like comes up and then closes over, and then and you see as basically a tower 20 foot on a side, 2 stories tall, just sort of magically like grows out as he uses Galder's tower.
Am I inside of this or outside of this?
You guys he wouldn't do it with any of you inside of it. So he would, like, if you're in it, he would be like, I need you to step aside.
Got it.
And then basically the construct itself is very quickly enclosed in a wall of white stone with no windows and a single point of entry and a door. This shouldn't be here.
What is it?
Come with me. And he walks inside of the thing.
Oh.
Into the tower.
Oh, there's a door. Okay.
I look back to make sure like other people can follow. Like, can they fit in, or is it just me?
You guys could all fit.
Okay,
It's
they can
20
all
feet
fit?
on the side.
Okay.
It'll be tight with the construct in there, but because it's occupies about 10 feet of space. But you walk in and he he kind of turns to you as you come in, and now that like he's out of the public eye, you see him relax a little bit.
Okay.
I've put my hood back up, by the way, and I'm clutching Kellick's robe.
Okay. You guys all.
I'm the last person to enter this. I'm just kind of very still and super confused. But I will eventually go in.
He walks up to you. And now, for the first time since you've seen him, a little bit of a smile like cracks his face. It's good to see you, sis.
If he'll let me, I'm just gonna throw my arms around him.
As you do so, you feel him kind of stiffen and tense, and then you feel as his arm, you feel the sort of like the hard flesh and then the hard metal of that other arm as it kind of wraps you up in a hug.
The second he hugs me, it's just tears. It's just... Yeah.
And in this moment of quiet, in the privacy that he has created for the two of you, he doesn't say anything. He just holds you. And those of you don't see this, but those of you see as just very slowly, like a few tears make their way down his face as well. But he's fighting it like hard. I thought you were dead.
I should be.
I'm really glad you're not.
I'm really glad you're not. I didn't know. They took me to Calder after,
Who?
Oh gosh, there's so much to tell, and so much is still happening right now. The people who attacked his name is Captain Boston. You might have he's pretty
I know that name.
infamous. Salix, he's coming here. And he's going, we have it on very good authority. He's going to try to assassinate the Queen. That's why I'm here. But I was looking for you also. I didn't know you'd be here.
Long story.
I think we could trade stories later if you wanted. None of mine are very happy.
Mine neither.
Didn't think so. And I just kind of look at his arm.
It has its perks.
I can see that. And you seem to have done... I said stupid, terrible things, and I didn't mean any of them. Yeah, I always knew.
Tess.
What?
I know.
But I had to say it.
You weren't all wrong.
Well, I kind of knew that part just a little bit too.
Just didn't have to be such a dick about it.
Yeah. To be fair, you broke my favorite cup, so I think
Okay, let's back up a little bit.
Back up. Yep. Mm-hmm. So assassination plot. Let's start with that, and then we can.
Captain And then he kind of realizes that there's other people in the room.
I'm Flynn.
I'm just
Thessaly.
looking up at the ceiling. I'm fascinated with the ceiling.
Flynn.
Your arm's cool. Flynn. What? Come on. It's cool. Look cool.
I mean, he's right.
Why is that where it starts, though? Like,
I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know.
we don't have to call attention to it.
The first meeting. Like, just wait.
We just start with who the person is.
I thought a compliment would be good. I'm sorry, sir.
It's all right. All right. What happened?
I met an angel of flowers and
All the way back to
He just lifts his hands. He goes, I'm going to stop you right there. Maybe we get to that. What happened here?
oh, we don't know.
We
This
told
thing
you.
attacked us.
It attacked you?
Yes, there's something going awry with it. I don't know, it was blinking all strange, like.
He reaches up to this sort of like strange kind of metal construct that's almost like comes out of his armor and sort of is affixed to the side of his head. And it's kind of part of the helmet, like you saw as like it retracted. Very similar to Grom's armor, that sort of armor that he had that like retracted into a small piece. That helmet, that whole fixture also retracts into kind of this like strange like mechanized bronze thing that kind of goes up the side of the face and attaches over the ear. And he reaches up and he presses onto it. And he says, Commander Kalpser, I have a situation. We should check on the Queen's assets. One of them appears to have gone rogue.
Oh, maybe that's
Yes, maybe that's how.
Oh!
not unrelated
I'll
to
brief
the.
you in a little while. And he turns it off as he uses sending to.
It might not be unrelated to the angel thing.
Maybe they configured these machines to turn against the Queen, and that's how they plan to do it?
We're here to stop someone from assassinating the queen, and maybe, yeah.
No one should know about these. These are. I barely have clearance to know about these.
How do people know about them now?
It was in the street.
It was.
Yeah, why was it in the street? What was the point of it being in the street?
Do you think it knew why we were here?
Even
It
if
sort of scanned us, did it not? For it.
It seemed
Yeah.
to fixate on us, at least.
Right.
who else knew we were coming?
What's her name?
Peregrine.
Salix, how much do you know about Lady Peregrine?
I know she's the leader of the Mechanist Guild. She holds tremendous political power.
Do they like the
Would
queen?
she have any?
Did they build the cats? Or have a hand in it?
Look, there's only a very limited amount of information I can tell you. Tess, you're my sister, but I have a job to do and I don't know any of you. These are things that you shouldn't know. You shouldn't be seeing this.
But
I understand that, but they do, and they're the only reason that I'm here. I would trust my life to every single person standing around me right now.
we are here to save your queen, and this attacked us. I think formalities go out the window.
We already know about it, and the only person I contacted before coming to Steelgate was Lady Celine Peregrine.
These constructs are incredibly advanced. There's only a few of them. And they have very impressive threat detection. But why would it detect you?
Well,
How did it behave? And he kind of goes over to it and he starts crouching down and kind of trying to examine the construct itself. Did it do anything strange?
Qualify strange. I don't even know the first thing about.
One of its
creature.
eyes was
Its eye.
flickering.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was broken almost.
And
I
it was
don't know.
like screeching waves of energy at us.
Yeah.
yeah, that thunder wasn't. I didn't like
It
that.
had a team of little drones that were pelting us with poison darts.
Yeah, at this, I'll also pull out my book and I'll start taking notes
Move.
of the things, and I'll walk over to him and stand next to him, kind of like start writing stuff down.
Okay. You said it just attacked you without provocation.
Quickly, yes.
Walking down the street, I don't think... We heard a commotion
We did nothing to earn this attack.
At this point, you start to hear like booted feet, like also kind of outside, and you can hear there's like basically over the last couple of minutes now, like more. It sounds like more people are arriving, and you hear a knock at the door, and Salix walks over to it, and he opens the door, and you can see there are the two Stillguard. Well, one of the two, the blonde one with the clean-shaven face, is standing at the door. He's like, "The perimeter's been established, Captain Salix. Is there anything else, sir?" And he goes, "No. Maintain the perimeter. If any of my brethren show, see them to the door. You're dismissed." And he closes the door. It attacked you unprovoked?
Yes.
Yeah.
It seemed
And it
to
was just-
identify us and then attack.
Unless took issue with our fashion sense.
That would be fair.
What?
What?
We look good.
We look very hodgepodgey.
Thessaly, make a persuasion check
Aye.
for me.
Oh, okay.
With advantage.
That's a 22.
Let's
22.
go. Please be enough.
You see Salix as he kind of looks at all of you, takes that deep, he kind of like strokes his head and takes a deep breath and kind of looks at all of you. Well, I guess protocol is out the window. These constructs are specifically created, or were created, for the protection of the Queen.
Oh,
There are 3 in total.
where are the other 2, Salix?
Safe.
Are you sure?
I'm having it looked into.
Sorry, right. Let you take the lead on that one. We know there's going to be an attempt on her life. It seems if this one has already been compromised.
Who were they created by?
Yeah, who made them?
Mechanist Guild.
So I did the exact wrong thing. Maybe,
That's too obvious, though. In broad daylight, send one to attack us? Like, we're going to come for...
That's true. I would have thought her smarter than that.
Well,
If
maybe
it killed,
through channels of some kind, you know.
if it killed us, what would matter?
Right, but there'd be witnesses, and
So
they would be able to... I don't know.
You hear a voice that's an disembodied voice.
Oh,
Well, maybe she just didn't want there to be dead bodies at her house.
I forgot you were here. Could you take that cloak off, please?
Can he see me?
No, he can just hear you. But he's
Okay.
okay. Put the hood on.
He's gonna put the hood on
Mm-hmm.
from behind the barrel.
He's an inquisitive rogue.
Ooh.
he is? Oh, sorry.
He's got like a 24
No,
passive.
thank you.
super hot leather.
Alma, come on.
He's not going to hurt you, Alma.
You don't know that.
I do know. Salix, are you going to hurt a little girl?
No.
Alma.
I did just ask him to throw his protocol out the window.
Trust goes both ways, Alma.
I lean into Kellic. And you just see like the outline of a body.
A little person on Kellic's robe. He just... Fine.
I just pat Alma gently and just with resignation.
You said her name was
Peregrine. Lady
Peregrine.
Celine Peregrine.
And
Maybe-
you're supposed to meet her.
Yes,
That's,
I remember I did a portrait for her. Well, you might not remember that as well as I do.
We didn't tell her anything that would indicate that we were against her cause or anything like that.
I
How would
simply
she know
was-
to target us?
I don't know. I was asking just for a favor, but maybe...
What possible reason could the Lady Peregrine have to want you dead?
Or maybe it wasn't her who actually operates the machines. Does she, or is it one of someone that works for her? Maybe they have a gripe with us. Or they are part
How
of
would
this
anyone
plot.
know we're coming? We got a message from an angel. That's what doesn't make sense to
Well,
me.
but we told her we were coming.
We didn't know, right? But she doesn't
So
know
they
why.
just have to put it together.
Yeah.
If someone knows who we are outside of that, then
Which
they
is
can
very possible.
connect
Well-
the dots, right?
What I'm thinking is maybe she has good intentions, but someone that works for her doesn't. So maybe she told people that we're coming and they are
Right.
planning to assassinate the queen. So maybe they're the ones that are like, okay, well,
Or-
these people are coming to...
Or if she's working with Captain Boston and Captain Boston knows your name, Thessaly, then that would connect that.
Right,
that's
and
true.
then they might not know that you're traveling with people, but they would know that you're coming.
Maybe we should talk to this lady.
Or maybe we shouldn't, and we should just go protect the queen.
I don't think.
And let her go off free?
I don't think let her get off free, but I want to stop.
I think the focus is where are these
The machine.
machines and how can we prevent any more of them from doing this?
I am prone to agree, and all due respect, but you're under my jurisdiction now. You're not going anywhere without my say-so.
All right.
You.
Does say hi. And a little iron enters his voice. My commander needs to be briefed. And considering you're really the only eyewitnesses to it, I'm gonna need you to come with me.
Absolutely, we will. Right?
What if he
And you
also
will
wants the
not-
queen dead? What if he also wants the queen dead?
Who?
The commander.
Commander.
I don't.
We take this
Oh.
one stride at a time.
Yeah.
Mister, do you trust your commander
I
to
mean,
not
that's
be a part of the Red Wolf or,
kind of how it
or a
works.
part of a cult or want the queen dead or secretly be working for Kalzor or
I mean, what do you say no?
be a villain?
Hell,
I trust my commander.
Thessaly, do you trust him to
Okay.
trust his commander?
I absolutely do. I think we should follow Captain Salix, to his commanding officer.
We don't. Yeah,
and if
let's go.
things should go all right, Captain Salix will look out for our best interests because we're all such good friends.
But I'm just
Right.
kind of tired because of that big fight. So I just feel like I can't really protect you guys right now.
All right.
So if it's a bad guy, I don't want to go meet him.
We have to move quickly here, Alma.
I
Time
know.
is of
I'm
the
just. That's why I'm
You'll
just
be
saying.
within Steamstride Landing. There's nothing that can get to you there.
Okay.
We felt safe before.
Either way.
And he kind of looks at you,
I just nod.
and he says, "Wait here a moment, please," and walks out of the door, closes it behind him.
Uh-oh.
And you hear kind of muffled discussion on the other side. And about a minute or so later, the door opens.
After he goes out,
Uh-huh.
would it be possible? Thessaly, what the hell?
What?
You have a brother who serves in Ondale's military?
That wasn't
Well, that
exactly known.
I didn't know
with a
that
metal arm?
he. I didn't know that he would be here. I didn't know.
Did he always have the arm?
No.
Then
What? It's
What?
cool.
It is.
he probably lost the arm in a
Oh, that makes
terrible
sense.
accident.
Yes, he
Yeah.
definitely did. He's obviously was.
So it's just a wee
He's a
bit
soldier.
insensitive to
I mean,
single that bit out.
It's
But
an
first,
upgrade, though. So.
There, Flynn,
Flint.
then he can't hold hands with it in a way that just.
there was an equally good chance that he was not alive.
I didn't know if he was alive, Dad.
Right. I gathered.
He left before Captain Boston attacked East Haven. He left the month before to join Ondale's military, and we didn't leave on the best terms. I didn't want him to go, and then the attack happened, and now we're here, and now he's here.
And we're going to meet his boss. We really
Right?
don't want to make him look bad in front of his boss.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Olma.
Cricket, 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 cricket,
Look,
cricket.
I haven't seen my brother in almost 7 years.
No,
I
sorry.
would really appreciate it if everyone, and I look a little pointedly at Flynn, and then I look a little pointedly at Olma, would just. He's a good person, and I trust him. And I know that we're in a bit of a sticky situation, but I need everyone just to trust me on trusting him, okay?
Of course.
Yeah.
And if something goes wrong, we'll just do what we do. We handle
Yeah,
ourselves.
we'll handle it.
Right. We'll handle it. And he'll help
Right.
us.
I think the only concern anyone here has is that we've all been failed by the structures of this world before. So we have no guarantee that whether or not Salix has good intentions, that his apparatus does. That's all.
I understand. I'm keenly aware. I also don't know that we have another option
Aye.
at
But
this
if not,
point.
he's our best.
Our closest route to the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Follow it until we have to make a change in plans, I guess.
Sounds good. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It's just a surprise. Confused.
It was a surprise to me too, if it makes anyone feel more comfortable. I had sent a letter, and I didn't. Anyway,
It went the wrong. It went the wrong way.
It went the wrong way. Okay.
I'm gonna walk over and just like before the door opens or before he comes back, and I just want to go over to the construct while he's out of the room, and I want to find one of the glowing eyes that are I'm assuming now not glowing, but preferably the one that was flickering, but it doesn't matter. And I just want to pick it up and put it in my little bag.
Okay.
My little souvenir bag.
All right.
What? Can I ask a question quick? Like time of day for when we were supposed to meet Lady Peregrine. Approximately, where are we?
Right. It's probably about.
We were close.
You guys were relatively close. You're kind of at the border between the Civic and Cliffside districts. And I mean, you guys are maybe an additional 10-minute walk away from Lady Peregrine's house. Flynn, I would like the eyes themselves. They're like underneath, like it's cracked glass, like a very like, for like, I mean,
because I know we were splashing at it.
Yeah, they're like cracked, and then underneath there, it will. What I'm saying is, it will take you time to get it out of there.
If it feels like I'm not gonna have enough time before
I'll
try and find
won't.
any piece of this construct that I can just put in my bag.
Yeah. That is doable. You can find like
a claw or something
some of
that's
its
broken.
teeth that
Sure,
have,
I'll
like,
take a tooth.
the metal like serrated teeth that are on the inside of it have like some of them are broken and chipped from getting swords jammed in them.
Cool.
And you
I'll take
find
a piece of the jaw with the teeth on it or whatever.
It's very like sharp and made from like that same like dull gray metal. But yeah, that you're able to get.
Tossed in the bag.
But the door opens back up, and you can see like a flurry of activity outside. More white cloaks have arrived, more of the Still Guard rather, as he comes in, and he says, "This is going to be pretty much locked down for a little while. We have to get this thing out of here without any more people than have already seeing it. So we need to take a walk."
Let's walk.
Okay. Come on. And he turns and walks out of the door. As he kind of begins leading you guys through the streets, you see everybody else here are still guard. You can see that by now about 10 have arrived and are like people are being diverted like up the road. You can see like they're like, nope, not today. Like go that way.
Find a side street.
Yeah, and
Nothing
you can see
to
like
see here.
Some
Just
people in like nice things. Classic making a scene like, oh, but this is my route to work. And basically like people are being very firmly directed away. This scene has been totally locked down.
Yeah.
And before he leaves, he grabs that same kind of still guard. And he says, "No one in or out unless it's another warden until I return. Clear?" And the guy's like, "Yes, Captain Salix." And again, like kind of a crisp salute. And you see as he calls 2 more still guard over, and they go and they just stand in front of that door.
I just kind of smile at this, like, just a not quite like patronizing. But yeah, I just kind of smile to myself, and I try to kind of wash it off before he notices.
Okay. And he turns to you all, and he just says, "Follow me," and you guys start walking. As you see on his, he goes down and kind of on his wrist, you can see this same kind of like this armor, and it's got all these kind of odd bits of metal and what look like runes and switches, and he kind of like taps one in a series, and you see that construct of his lifts into the air and takes off without him, and it kind of takes off in like a south.
That's cool.
That's what I'm saying. South easterly direction. Oh shit. Okay.
Okay.
Wow, interesting. But it takes off, and he starts leading you guys through the streets. He walks next to you, but he doesn't say anything. You see his face has just kind of gotten like contemplative, and there's like just a kind of a frown line between the brows. Like his brows very furrowed, the way he always looks when he's like concentrating or thinking about something. And he just kind of keeps looking over at you.
I look different.
I was gonna say, what happened to you, Thess?
Well,
Were you... You were there? When they...
I tried to... Everyone was so spread out because they were having a celebration. It was like they knew, and I couldn't get to Hazel. So I took Castor and Emery to the chapel. But there's no... I don't know if you remember, there's no exit out of there, and they broke down the door, and then I got this, and I just touched my face. I don't know how I lived. And then they took me to Calder.
Why?
I still don't know. They thought, and I kind of struggle with it. Like I'm gonna try to like just start the flicker of a spell in my hand, but I'm pretty tapped and not at like a good condition, so it kind of flickers, but just to indicate that, because I couldn't do magic before. I made an oath, and they found that very interesting. So they... I don't know if the street is the place to have this conversation, Salix.
They're all...
Yeah.
You're the only one?
I'm the only one.
And,
Auden's gone too.
Sorry.
Why?
And
I won't meet his eyes. Like I can't look at him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He, like, yeah, maybe not here. I've waited 8 years. I can wait a little longer. And he leads you guys through the streets of the Civic District, kind of turning you guys around and going a little bit back towards the direction you're coming. But eventually, he hangs right and starts heading further south. And
as we're walking, can I saddle up next to Kelly?
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys have... This is probably like a 15, 20-minute walk, so yeah, you have time.
Next time we get the chance, you have to remind me to tell you about the black doors.
The black doors?
Yeah, that kind of keeps.
What?
It's a long story. That's what I call them.
Oh, so it's a figurative kind of thing.
Yes.
Oh, good. I don't need any more magic.
No, there's no magic here.
Ugh.
I mean, everything I do is magic, but not that.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
Oh.
I'm just glad you're all right.
I just give Seeker a pat on the shoulder.
Okay. He takes you south, and as you wind through, you can see sort of off to the east a little bit. You can see the massive construction of the... Why did I say that so weird?
The
massive building of the Capitolium. The principal center of all of the civic activity here within the city, and it's already kind of casting a shadow in your guys' direction as the sun is sort of peeking over the mountains that are to the immediate, the Cliffkeep Mountains to the east of Stillgate, from which the city kind of flows down to the ocean. But he is very quickly leading you towards the cliffs of Sildar. And as you make your way through, eventually you find yourselves walking down a large thoroughfare, and sort of there in front of you, you see what looks like a sort of massive, like, ramp and staircase that just kind of descends into the ground. And he takes you down actually Sildar's stair itself. Thessaly and Kellic, you guys remember from the last time you were here, this is one of the 3 that wind their way upwards through the cliffs. But he takes you down, and you guys kind of begin to enter into a totally kind of different section of the city as you enter into the boroughs, the sort of unofficial 7th district of Stillgate. He begins to take you down, and as you walk through, you can see the sort of the broad thoroughfares stay the same, but whereas before you saw massive cliffs that were rising, or rather massive buildings and architecture that was rising to the side, instead now you begin to see caverns and offshoots and different landings amongst the stairs as they sort of begin to kind of wind their way down, curving backwards on themselves back into the cliffs of Sildar. And you see like these staircases are very, very wide, and every once in a while you see a sort of steam-powered construct that kind of makes its way up through the stairs, usually bearing some kind of a load. But you wind your way down and you can see little shops and things like that. And Flynn, I think one of the things that you notice here is that there are a lot more smaller races that live in the boroughs. You see suddenly kind of like, all of you notice it, but I think Flynn's the first to kind of pick it out. You see as more halflings, more gnomes, you actually even see the occasional kobold and things like that. Like every once in a while you might see a goblin or something, but just various, a higher concentration of smaller creatures who call the Warrens home. You also notice more dwarves than you have in any other section of the city. Just like as the thoroughfare kind of passes, the makeup of the people changes as you go into this. And there's more, it's a livelier place. There's like constantly like voices echoing off of the cavern walls, and you can hear like bits of music and things like that drifting to and fro. It's just it almost feels like a different place as you enter into.
I think just briefly, as this starts to happen, I think my demeanor is kind of like, I don't look as tired, and it seems like almost I have like a little bit of a smirk or a smile as now we've entered this area. Just
gotcha.
Reminds you of home.
Aww.
Awesome. As you guys are walking through, you do take note of a, I don't want to say an oddity, but it's just something that like you kind of clock. You can see that kind of on a broad landing off to one side, you can see what appears to be kind of a large carved archway with like a deep like emerald green set of curtains that covers the archway itself, and in like gold and brass kind of scrawl, like very fancy kind of writing, etched into the stone above, you see it says Sebastian's Sundries, excuse me. And it just kind of catches your attention because it's bigger. You see that whereas a lot of the other places are sort of, they're carved into the bedrock, this place just has a bigger presence, like the big bright green curtains and the big archway. It just sticks out in this place. But you continue walking, and eventually you arrive at another landing. And this one, as you get closer and closer, the kind of liveliness of this area starts to quiet a little bit. And you enter into eventually you see kind of up ahead of you another large archway. And you can see kind of light pouring through that archway as you enter into this space, and you can see a huge cavernous chamber that opens up ahead of you. And you see men and women dressed very similarly to Salix, walking to and fro. You can see that there are collections of archways that open out into pure open air. And you can see like this very precipitous drop off, and then the rest of the city as it kind of like splays out to the south. It looks like you are basically like right up against the side of the cliffs of Sildar. And it takes you kind of down a long passageway to get here. And occasionally you can see kind of flooding in through those windows, you see these dragonfly constructs with people on their backs. And it's huge. Like this place is carved out, probably 120 feet tall at its apex. So it's kind of this massive domed room, all trimmed in bronze and white stone. And like, there's like voices that subtly, the acoustics, you can hear like hushed conversations and things like that. And you see as multiple pathways lead off into different spokes that go deeper back into the cliffs as you arrive at Steamstride Landing, the headquarters of the Steamstride Wardens here within Stillgate. Salix kind of turns to you and watches as you all enter, and kind of just looks to Thessaly for their reaction. So I'd be curious to know what it is.
So as we're walking, just kind of like taking in, because I'd never been to this part of the city prior. So just kind of like taking everything in, drinking it in, and then when we get to the landing, my eyes kind of sparkle, and I'm putting together like this role that he's made for himself, and I kind of can't help but smile a little bit.
He turns and he's watching you as you kind of look around and you see the space, and as you walk, you hear a few people like Captain Salix and like wave to him, and he just kind of nods curtly. It appears that he is recognizable in some respect here, and from the way that people address him, he does appear to carry some amount of rank.
Mm-hmm.
Being familiar with military structures, that kind of difference is apparent. And seeing you smile, he kind of, not bad, huh?
You're certainly popular. Everyone seems to know your name.
Not always for the right reasons.
Oh. We'll talk about that later too. We might need to work on your manners.
Being a hard ass is part of my charm.
Sure, Salix, sure it is.
And he just kind of smirks in that kind of insufferable way that he does. And you see as like his ocean blue, a much deeper blue than your own pale, kind of sparkle as well. Just at that, a moment of shared levity between the two of you. Before he kind of, like, his face kind of stills again as he takes a deep breath and walks you guys deeper into the compound. And it's a marvel of engineering and artifice and everything that's in here, but eventually you do find yourselves in front of a large set of bronze doors that atop them are basically emblazoned that same symbol of the tree and the gears and cogs of Ondale. And you see two Stillguard who are actually just positioned outside of these doors as Salix comes to a stop in front of the doors, and he says, "Captain Salix Gwyn, here to see High Commander Nasaid Kalb."
Kalb?
Kalb. K-A-L-B. Nasaid, N-E-S-A-I-D. Kalb, K-A-L-B. And he says, "High Commander."
Do I know what rank that, like how high that ranking is?
This is the leader of the Steam's Dread Wardens.
Oh!
This man sits on the Queen's Council.
Oh!
He reports direct. Okay.
I just kind of like, straighten my spine, square my shoulders a little bit at hearing High Commander.
And one of the Stillguard goes, he opens the door, pulls it open and like it's one of those doors where, because of the engineering, he pulls it and it doesn't require a lot of strength. It just kind of silently swings open and walks in. And there's a moment. About a minute passes before the door opens back again. And the door's pulled open. And the Stillguard kind of looks to Salix and then kind of looks at all of you with a question on his face. And Salix just turns and he says, "They're fine." And then he kind of looks at you pointedly as if to say, like,
right?
Right?
Yeah. I give it just like a strict nod, like affirmative.
If I could shoot Seeker an impish look of just like a mischievous just glance, like I will. If I can slip that.
Absolutely. So as the doors pulled open for you, again, just silently, you see sunlight kind of pour in. And you see before you almost like a miniaturized version of the larger landing itself outside. You see a wide office, probably 50-foot high kind of domed ceilings. You can see a door off to the left that leads into some kind of chamber. And sort of sitting up against the back, you see a series of large arch windows with a big balcony of white stone that goes out and then drops off. And you can see the city of Stillgate spread out behind it and sort of silhouetted there by the light, sitting at a large bronze desk or wood desk inlaid with bronze. You see a human male in his probably 50s or so. You see very close cropped, like gray hair. He's got very kind of a... It looks like someone used his face for an anvil. He's like not a handsome man, but a very like weathered, very sort of broad shoulders, but relatively not a tall man. Probably 5'6", something like that, 5'7" at most. He's not below average height, but sort of broad shoulders, powerful build. He's wearing kind of a set of robes, but they're sleeveless, and they're done in that same like deep bronze color. You can see on a stand behind him, though, is a very sort of ornate set of armor that looks a lot like Salix's, but just more, for lack of a better term, more cooler. It's just cooler.
Yeah, more.
It's got like it's more reinforced. It's got more iconography and just like what appears to be more gizmos and gadgets and things like that on it. And then off in a corner is actually a construct, but instead of a dragonfly, you see kind of a long, like serpentine, almost draconic like form, completely composed of like bronze and gears and cogs, as apparently some sort of clockwork drake is just sort of like at rest in the corner, apparently in some mode of stasis.
You said gray hair?
Yeah, gray hair, very close cropped, military style haircut. And he sort of he's sitting over his desk and he's kind of looking over some papers. And he kind of looks up when you all enter and he closes a folio that he has on his desk. Captain Salix, I'm to understand there was a bit of a disturbance today. And you all were witness to it, is that correct?
We thought a thing. What was it called? Captain?
One of the steel predators, sir. Salix says to Commander Nasaid. We aren't entirely certain. There are members of the Mechanist Guild now on their way to examine it, but I'll let them tell the story. It appears to have attacked them. And Commander Nasaid says, please, start at the beginning. And he just folds his hands and he kind of looks at all of you guys very intently.
Well, I
looked at Thessaly.
I checked in with Thessaly.
Yeah, I looked at Thessaly.
Do you want me to...
Kellic, why don't you talk?
I got it. All right. How do you describe this? Well, we just got here today, by way of teleportation circle.
From where?
Marstock.
Can I get the measure of this? As he asks.
Yeah.
Suddenly.
Yeah.
I look for red robes.
Make an investigation check for me. I'll let you do investigation or perception, your choice.
Thank you, sir. Very generous of you. 26.
26. As you look around, you look to the room, you see it's relatively Spartan. There's not a lot here, but as you look, you see no indication whatsoever of red robes
any kind of like subterfuge.
Any kind of subterfuge or anything like that.
I am going to let go of Kellic's robes.
Okay. All
And
right.
quietly walk my way to the desk and read what is written on his desk.
Would they?
This is happening.
All right. Okay. So one, he closed it, so it is the folio that was on his desk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else on his desk though?
First, I need you to make a stealth check for me.
Can I?
Advantage or does it?
It's an advantage.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was trying to pay attention to her.
Were you?
Yeah. but we'll see if I can.
Okay, what's the total?
22 total.
22 total. Okay. You see Salix like stiffen next
Because
to
he
you.
can. Oh no. Because he's got a passive 20.
What does the High Commander have? We'll find out.
He stiffens, I stiffen, and I like retroactive. You know how you see
Am I
something
able-
playing out?
Am I able, since I'm gonna let go of my cloak, am I able, do I notice, I have passive perception of 20, would I notice
passive
his
perception
response?
of 20? But your active perception check that you just rolled was 26.
Mhm.
So
Right.
you feel her leave, and then as you look, you can see the like faint depressions. There are like carpets in here, so you can see like the faint.
If he grabs me, I will
Yeah,
like
I
let
would
him.
just like, put like, sort of
Gotcha.
like,
Okay.
as,
That's
like,
fine.
So we were.
I was gonna like put my hands behind my back and I push him up.
As you're describing this.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure he's not part of the room.
No, that's valid.
I mean, like, I'm just
No,
trying to
it's
make
valid.
sure that there's no like communications between Artemisia.
Trust them.
It's very
That's
valid.
right.
It's very valid.
That's
Forge
so
that.
funny though. 'Cause,
I'm just like, are there letters to Artemisia or like
right.
what's on his
But then I nod at Seeker.
Marstock, that's correct. We've been all over.
We received some intel
That there may be an attempt on the Queen's life in the near future.
On good authority.
Mm-hmm.
Great authority.
Define good authority.
An angel from Laris.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
But it is true.
The truth.
Why wouldn't I? Never mind.
And where did this happen?
Where did the angel speak to us?
Mm-hmm.
At Oaken Gate Monastery,
Yeah.
over by Sunplume in the Raging Woods.
In Keldor.
Aye, correct.
Yes, but they're their own sort of entity over there.
Well, there's lots of people, sure you know, there's lots of people trapped on both sides of this conflict. Oaken Gate, we just came from the most lovely Everdon celebration, very much celebrating Laris and Famir. Which is why I'm sure it was so easy for Laris to communicate with us.
And he spoke with you.
Yes.
And you see his gaze kind of like as it travels down your form. What?
Yeah.
How visible is Seeker's tattoo?
Right now, my sleeves are rolled up, so it's on inside of my forearm, so it'd be easy.
Okay. You see as his eyes kind of sweep across you, he clocks the tattoo, clocks the sword, clocks the boots, clocks. Pretty much like this man's gaze, not like one by one catalogs everything on your person.
Sure.
And then he kind of goes through and
I
he
gotta
does
like
the same
do this
thing.
with my hand behind my back as I see it staring at Seeker.
Yeah. What do you have? Oh, you're
Just I have a big old fucking sleeve of tattoos.
Oh.
Let's see.
I
what
mean, are they that bad?
I also have a.
No, they're
I don't know
not
if the
bad.
burnt arm would mean.
I mean,
anything.
the wraps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm wrapped
we're
up.
both-
You got a burnt arm, yep.
I mean, it is wrapped up, but.
he clocks the pauldron on your shoulder.
Mm.
Is that like there's a moment of like
He puts his arms down.
you guys are you're 20 and 18
20,
passive
yeah.
perception?
Yeah.
I have a 13, so mine's really
I
great
have a
too.
17.
I don't know why you didn't
I
ask
have a
me.
17.
Can't see anything.
I don't know why you didn't ask me what mine was.
Okay. What's yours is 13, you said?
Yeah.
I'm 16.
Because that is why.
I notice a lot, okay?
I noticed so many.
17.
I
Oh,
just like that it actually is 13 because it means that Alma assumes everybody sees what she sees. And she's like, nobody's going to notice.
Proficient.
Nobody's going to know.
Obviously
How
not.
would they know?
You and you. It's like almost imperceptible. But you hear hear him say something to himself. Trust not the Sentinel's guise. Like almost, and it's almost like sing-songy.
If I hear this, my eyes will just flick over to Flynn.
Then he dismisses it, looks at the tattoos, looks over to you.
Trust not sentinels, guys.
Okay.
No. What?
Does his? I'm sorry. Well, like, does anything about him change as he says it, or he just mutters it to himself?
Just kind of mutters it to himself.
Okay.
A look of like, it's not like. This is tough.
Yeah.
Make an insight check for me.
Who?
Seeker.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
If you want to use mine. I'm not saying it's better, but
I mean,
I wanna
last
hear
time it.
Look at that. 19.
Look at that.
it's reverse psychology for the dice.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I see.
Tell those math rocks what to feel.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
You
Apparently,
tell.
the dice don't have
That's
psychology.
a 22.
22. Nothing like. Interestingly enough, there's nothing about his. That's a good roll. There's nothing about his like demeanor that changes. Like he doesn't suddenly look mistrustful or anything like that. There's nothing that like, oh no. But it's almost like there's no alert or anything that comes over his countenance. It's just this kind of like a taking stock of something and recognize, like, with that roll that he recognizes the Sentinel's pauldron on Flynn's shoulder for what it is.
Yeah.
Like he knows Flynn's a member of the Iron Light.
Yeah.
Like he's like he knows.
He's like recalling something.
That thing. There's almost like a sing-songy quality to
Does
what he
it
says.
sound like another?
like a poem or a verse or a.
Ooh. Like a nursery rhyme. Yeah,
I don't like that.
like a nursery rhyme.
Well, we don't hear it at all.
We don't. I have no idea.
And you said I kind of
You
catch
caught
that?
it too. Yeah.
I mean, I'm confused
Yeah.
a little bit. Can I glean anything from his emotion?
Yeah, I mean, if you'd like
Because like,
also...
if I see him notice my pauldron and he like looks at it and
Yeah.
I'm like, I straighten up and I kind of like, huh?
Yeah.
I want to see like, does he? I don't know. Does he? Why? What's he feeling when he sees my pauldron?
Also, you can also go ahead and roll an insight check for me.
Okay.
See what Flynn is able to glean from this.
'Cause I know it's
face.
brief, but I figured I would see if I
it's
catch.
it's a noticeable like, in the same way that like someone in the same way that someone might recognize like a military tattoo
Yeah.
that it's very clear like, oh wow, okay.
I got a 14.
A 14. He's tough to read,
Okay,
man.
that's fine.
Like there's no apparent like hostility or anything like that comes over his face.
And he
Just
said what again?
He said,
not the Sentinels
trust
guys."
not the Sentinels guys.
I'll just clock that and I'll just
What does
try and
that
stay as
mean?
still as possible
Interesting.
and just keep looking around like
It is.
trying to smile as
Well, we
naturally
know
as possible.
some that we're not good sentinels.
So Seeker, I already gave you guys both the information.
Yeah.
Sorry. He looks to you, and then he looks. You can see his eyes dart back and forth between you and Salix, and then he looks to you, Kellic, clocks the arm.
But I'm also wearing a necklace.
And you have the
Yeah.
pendant. Yeah, I see the pendant. That's out there.
Oh yeah.
And
It's very
yeah.
shiny.
It is quite
Confusion.
Yeah.
You're also very clean,
Mm-mm.
right? You still clean?
Still clean. I mean, I probably got some grease on me from that.
That's right.
But-
Right, yeah.
And you've put me behind you, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so you say, so the last thing that was said, you said you came from Arstock, you came from a nice Everdon celebration.
Mm-hmm.
So, an Iron Light Sentinel, a priest of Lauris, family of yours, Captain Salix, a priest of Famir, and someone in my office who won't show their face,
It's
come to me from Kaldur, destroy a top secret project of which they should know nothing, and then tell me that an angel of one of the old gods, one of whom hasn't been spotted in gods know how long, told them, because they're special, that someone is coming to assassinate the leader of Ondale.
Not just someone. A Captain Voss.
The eyebrow. This man's reactions can be measured in millimeters. He is so schooled. It's hard to detect. Like, what would be like a gasp of astonishment for another person is
Would
like
be
a
just
slight
like a
flicker, like a slight lowering of the eyebrows for him. The name rings.
Go ahead.
the name registers.
The name registers.
From behind Kellic, I will like drop my hood and say, "It's for my own safety."
We're not special.
and I like step kind of like I peek out from behind him and he sees just like a little girl's face.
Yeah.
It's like
He like looks at you and kind of unreadable, like, but
so hearing him say all that, it's not I'm nervous.
when you say it out loud, it sounds a little weird.
It sounds a little weird. So I look to Salix. How does he look?
He is. Ooh.
After hearing his commanding officer.
He is like, yeah, he is. He's also tough to read. Salix has learned to school himself.
Yeah.
But Thessaly, make an insight check with advantage.
Him,
yeah, make an insight check with advantage. Yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
Who's Mike? Who the fuck? I just got it. Oh, God. All right.
It was insight?
Insight.
That's a 24.
24. Salix is chagrined and not like suddenly also hearing it out loud presented in this way.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my God.
So so
reassessing whether or not this was the wisest decision.
Reassessing that, I'm going to walk forward.
Mhm.
I'm going to, in a way that I feel like someone would a man like this would understand. I'm going to take my blades out in the most non-threatening way possible. I will lay them on his desk, and I will just hold my hands open and bare and say, I will tell you everything that you need to know. And you can proceed how you see fit, but we are here to save the life of the Queen of Ondale. I know exactly what Captain Vossen can do. I have suffered at his hand, and I've worked for him. And I'm willing to give you all the information you need to stop this from happening. I know you have no reason to trust us. But those are my greatest weapons right there. And you can have them. Salix was right to bring us here.
Make a persuasion check with advantage for me.
I have to be very careful about which dice.
I mean,
that you really don't.
I love this ongoing bit of the war of philosophies on dice. They're math rocks. No, but they have feeling. they have vibes.
They know me. Okay. Wait, well, it was a persuasion?
Persuasion.
Charisma.
23.
Yay!
You have my attention. You worked with Captain Vossen?
I mean, indentured might be a good word.
The leader of the Fatal Reserve?
Uh-huh.
One of the most highly decorated combat units to come out of the Caldurian military? More confirmed kills than just about anybody?
Yes, so that's, so, I didn't think,
You didn't think that the High Commander of the Steamstride Wardens would have a dossier on someone like that?
I did. I just didn't think I was going to have this particular conversation today.
Well, it looks like circumstances may have forced your hand.
It looks that way. I was at the East Haven Massacre.
His eyes flick over your shoulder.
I was a survivor. I'm a paladin of Fenra. And, I was taken during the massacre. indentured, and I served with the Fatal Reserve for 1 year. Before Tri-Point Island was retaken by Ondale about, I think that was 6 years ago. It's hard to keep track of time. I don't think I need to tell you that if he wants to come here, if he's been sent to do this, he will see it through. I can give you a complete dossier on everyone else in the Fatal Reserve. I can tell you their skills. I can tell you their weaknesses.
It would seem, if I may, that part of this effort might have something to do with these steel predators of yours. This thing attacked us in the street. It was malfunctioning. And
yes.
It sort of singles us out, which I think probably has something to do with Thessaly.
What? Why would it?
Well, you're the known quantity if we're talking about Captain Boston.
Can I recall?
Oh.
Can I recall if it clocked Thessaly first, or if it just saw all of us in our weapons?
As you think back, it didn't appear to clock Thessaly in particular any more than it did anybody else.
Yeah.
Though, it's a construct, right? Like
Sure.
the all of the particulars of human emotion or it recognizing someone.
Yeah, of course.
So it's kind of inscrutable in that way. It almost appeared more to, rather than like recognize any of you individually, it almost appeared to recognize the threat that you all presented.
Okay.
If that helps.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. The three of you. Oh, sorry, Elmo, your passive's just not high enough. The three of you.
What are you talking about?
When Thessaly says that they served for a year, you see something change on Salix's face, like a calculation, like he's doing the math.
Oh, jeez.
What kind of math?
Oh.
It's been 7 years.
And you see him kind of like stiffen. That's it.
Oh, that kind of math.
Yeah.
Commander Nasade, where are you staying while you're in town?
Well, we were supposed to stay with,
Lady Peregrine?
yes, but I think that might be out of the question now.
We let
Lady
Lady
Peregrine.
Peregrine know of our coming in advance. Certainly you understand. We are a bunch of, as you say, a ramshackle group of adventurers. We don't have any kind of clout that could get us an audience with the Queen to warn her of such a attempt on her life. So we thought maybe through the upper class here, we could find some way to communicate, convey this message. And Lady Peregrine was the only person we really knew.
But basically, we didn't have a place to stay just yet. We were going to figure that out when we got here. We kind of go as we can.
You don't need to explain the philosophy, Alma. It's clear.
Basically, any recommendations would be great.
I think what he's getting at is, what are, I don't want to presume, what are you getting at? Hi, Commander?
Let's just say we'll be keeping very close tabs on all of you.
That's fine.
Do you have a recommendation for an inn?
I'm sure Captain Salix will have more than enough.
Okay.
I have to make my way to the Capitolium for a council meeting. I'll need to speak with you in depth.
Me?
Yes.
Now?
No.
Later.
Precisely.
Are we going to address the I'm really concerned about the other thingies. The other
Steel predators.
Yes, those, that's what they're called.
Yes, we...
Like, if there are more, we're not sure. It's not like anyone's told us
But also,
any.
what about the Queen? Who's protecting her?
Right, if you're going to some kind of council meeting, maybe it's a great time to just let the people know who need to know that kind of thing. That this is in the works.
Please try to understand. There's a few things I need to confirm before I tell the Queen of an impending assassination attempt on your life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to cause undue panic for no apparent reason. And you are a bit of an unknown quantity.
That's fair, but maybe someone should be keeping an extra eye on her. I'm not saying you have to tell her, but I don't want the Queen to die.
There's not a lot of time.
But I guess it's not really... We've told you now, so if the Queen dies, it's your fault. It's not my fault anymore.
We did our job.
Oh,
No,
let's not.
that's not true.
If the Queen dies, it would be my fault anyway, child.
Okay, well, as long as we're clear on that.
We are.
And now,
Just.
well, we're a known quantity, eh? We're the agents of repair, and we're here to help. So keep tabs on us, and we felled that steel predator by ourselves. We're quite capable.
We've also been doing like a whole lot of good. I don't know if you have any enemies or like any people you've been looking for, but maybe we know where they are.
Yeah, we've closed
don't know.
portals.
Let's not get into. We will be honest and forthcoming. I don't want to overwhelm you with information, but that conversation we're going to have later is that more of I don't do well with interrogation, or is that just a conversation?
Bought a drow army.
A conversation.
Excellent.
Captain. And he picks up the leather folio that he has, tucks it under his arm, and walks over to the sort of bronze draconic form that is in the office next to him. And says, Captain Salix, I trust that you will let me know, and keep me informed. Yes, High Commander. Good. And he gets on the
He's gonna turn it on.
mount.
Seeker, he's gonna turn it on.
And
Calm down.
Oh my god.
Calm down. Calm down.
and as he goes and he climbs atop the construct, it does sort of like its eyes flare green and its wings kind of snap open, and it like walks over to the edge, climbs up onto the balcony, and jumps off. Wings snap, and it.
Okay. Oh my god! Yeah. Okay.
So cool.
Yeah, that does.
The High Commander of the Steam Stride Wardens makes his intentions maybe clear.
Maybe.
Guys, I don't get it.
What? What don't you get?
Did we help or not?
Salix, you know him best. How'd that go?
I don't know if we always need to come out the gate with the whole angel thing. We could maybe just keep that.
They're going to ask where we
That's
got
not-
the
again,
information.
I wanted-
You talk to people in ambiguous circles, right? Don't they use code names and things, and you don't reveal your sources or something like that?
A
That
year?
thing?
We can have this conversation when
A year.
it was
When?
a month after you left.
So 6 years. 6 years you've been not in Kaldor?
Well, no, I was mostly in Kaldor.
Quit fucking around, Thessaly. You know what I mean.
I didn't know where to find you, and I couldn't.
Did you look? I thought you were dead!
Hey! Whatever she did it for good reason, all right?
Kellic.
You leave her alone.
Kellic.
No, I've watched this person struggle and suffer and worry.
You think I suffered any less?
I don't care. We've all suffered in this war. You leave her be,
Or what?
or I'll kill you. I'll strike you down. Whatever it takes.
Okay.
Fight you up.
Calm down. Calm down. I'm gonna walk over to Kellic and put my
Careful.
hand on his chest.
Kellic. Be very fucking careful.
Be as careful as I need to be.
I'm gonna put my hand in forcefully on Kellic's chest and push. We need to walk. Now. Unless you're resisting, I'm pushing you like in a different direction.
I won't resist.
He walks out.
Salix.
Come on. I need to find you all a place to stay. He escorts you out of the Steamstride Warden headquarters. You walk in silence, I presume.
Yeah.
This would feel an invisible hand press a vial of ink into her hand. At some point during the walk.
I just take it, but I don't give any indication that I take it like almost involuntarily.
He walks you guys. And the exit from the Steamstride Warden headquarters is a little quieter than the entrance. Takes you up through the winding stairs once more, and through into the Civic District, and then further north, and to the east, closer to the mountains, as you guys begin to enter back into the Parchment District. And after a time walking through the streets, eventually you come upon a white stone building with a sort of big sign out front. There is what appears to be a sort of picture or caricature of like a wizened old man with a book in his lap and a cup of tea. And you can see that it says the Scholar's Rest. This is where you can stay. It's a nice inn. It's where I'd prefer you to, so that I can know where you are.
We'll stay here. Will you give me a chance to do what I could not and explain myself, because I promised you, and then after that you will have every right after this if you don't ever want to look at my face again. But I need you to know everything. It wasn't because I didn't want to find you.
I'd like a moment alone with my sister, please.
I'll look at Kellic.
I'll look at Thessaly.
I nod at you.
We'll be just inside.
We'll be just inside.
Yeah, I'll follow Kellic in. And I'll if I can, just grab a glance of Thess, and I'll just kind of and walk in.
I give Flynn the saddest smile.
Yeah, I'll slowly peel off. Just kind of watching Salix. Yeah, I won't say anything, and just turn to Thess and put my hand on your shoulder. Nod.
I squeeze your hand.
I'll go in.
He reaches down to his wrist, and you see he kind of traces over the sigils again. Can we walk?
We can.
How are you with flying?
I don't think that I've ever flown. But I'm not scared of most things.
You guys walk for 2 or 3 minutes before you see the clockwork construct of his dragonfly mount kind of descend and land in front of you. And he hops on.
All right. And I will follow his lead.
and you see as the ground kind of rapidly rises. You got that sinking stomach in your feeling in your stomach, rather sinking stomach. You get that sinking feeling in your stomach as the sort of rapid acceleration of this construct fights gravity, and suddenly you are cruising kind of over the beautiful city of Stillgate. You see it's the morning sun is kind of disappearing now. It's getting on to about midday, but you fly east almost in a straight line. And you eventually make your way over towards the Cliffkeep Mountains that you see that are kind of ringing the edge of the city. And you see Salix, as if he knows exactly where he's headed, just beelines for what looks like a series of additional cliffs, like very steep drops and precipices that fall off of the edge of the mountains, and eventually coasts to a landing atop like a large rise. And you can see now, even beneath this, you can see the Parchment, Civic, and Cliffside districts, and the entirety of the city of Stillgate kind of spread out beneath you, as you're now probably like 2 or 3 miles outside of the city. And he lands the construct and walks over to the edge of the cliff, and then sits down and hangs his feet off the edge.
I will walk over and sit next to him as long as he lets me. I'm never going to be able to tell you how sorry I am. I don't think a lifetime of saying it is going to make up for anything. I'd like to try. I'm going to tell you what happened, and I don't expect you... The night... I'm going to start... I couldn't save Hazel. I couldn't save the twins. And I wasn't sure, because this war has taken so many people, that after I finally got away from that monster, I didn't know. It would have been like losing you twice. And I don't think I could barely live with myself. I failed them. You went off, and you were right. I'm a coward, Salix. I didn't go find you because I couldn't stand the look that you're giving me right now. I felt like no matter what I did, I would have lost you, because how can you... I let them die. It was my fault.
Only you could try to take responsibility for something like that.
You would have felt the same way. I was right there. And I took my oath. I called out for someone to save them, for anyone to save them. And they answered right when it was too late. And then they took me and they tortured me, and I wasn't myself for several years after. I don't know. I didn't have the wherewithal to search for you, let alone if you'd found me, I wouldn't have wanted you to meet that person. I wasn't well. And then when I could think straight, and when I could wonder about you again, I felt felt like I'd lose my mind again if I saw your name on one of those boards of... I didn't know where they'd sent you. I couldn't go back to East Haven. I couldn't... Indenture be damned, I fought for Caldur. What would...
You think I give a shit?
Wouldn't you?
And he holds up his arm. I had just gotten done with my last week of basic training when the news came. You were all dead. Just like everybody else. You know, it's funny. I rose up the ranks pretty quick. Always chose to go on the most dangerous missions. Always chose to be at the front where the fighting was the heaviest. Because I wanted to die. Because everybody that I cared about, Thessaly, was dead. And I couldn't. I'm sorry you were there. But I would have taken any Thessaly over none at all. And you took that from me. 6 years of wanting to be with you and the twins and Hazel and Mom and Dad and Edmund and all of my friends. And it's like the gods wouldn't let me.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I keep failing you, Salix. I keep fucking doing the wrong thing. I keep letting you go off to war, and I don't know how to fix this. I've been trying to fix it. I've been looking for him. I've been looking for Captain Voss, and I didn't want to see you because my life was already over. Ending him was going to be the end of me.
Not anymore. One day at a time. That's how we fix it. You're all I got, Tess. One day at a time.
He'll let me. I'm gonna take both of his hands and just hold them. If you... I promise. I will never leave this family again.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Never again.
Okay.
Okay.
And he squeezes your hands. And he takes a deep breath. One day at a time.
One day at a time.
We'll pick up there next time. Thank you all very much for watching. We appreciate you guys. And catch you next time.
Bye, nerds.
Bye, nerds.
Ooh, heavy one.
Woo!
Heavy.
Sheesh.
Hey, nerds. Rodney here. Hey, come on in here for a second. I know you're enjoying Venture Forth, and we appreciate it. Please make sure you like, follow, and subscribe on all the platforms you use. Also, make sure to tell your friends so the word can get out there. To go the extra mile, hit that Patreon. Get yourself some amazing and exclusive bonus content, which is also going to help the show grow. All right, later, nerds.